Welcome to Hardwired. Join me as we take a look at 2021 and the insane year it has been. The pandemic has hit most every industry pretty hard, causing delays and dismays amongst consumers the world over. Though some of that holds true here, video games have been a consistent source of new and engaging entertainment throughout the entirety of the pandemic. Thanks to video games, we had windows of escapism that took us out of our suffering. With that said, we'd like to lead you through our list of the best of this year, so that you can pass that joy on to others this holiday season. All-out, large-scale warfare in a gloriously destructive sandbox. This is the promise of Battlefield, and its latest iteration delivers on it in spades. Where most military shooters exist in confined maps with speed and intensity being the main driving force of battles, Battlefield instead gives players tools and specialties that open up a bombastic sandbox of opportunity. This is what makes 2042 a step above its past versions. Everything often just clicks, creating quote-unquote Battlefield moments where your squad uses special abilities alongside vehicles to locate, execute, and dominate enemies at an objective. Synergy is everything here. The way your squad forms up with different loadouts greatly improves your chances of success, which is where Specialists, the new character-driven class stand-ins, come in, and where they feel most interesting. Some characters feel custom-made for certain maps, while others feel more like they belong to no one location. For instance, the grappling hook ability held by Maverick completely changes how you can play maps like Orbital or Manifest, as you're able to gain height advantages to places not normally accessible without the grappling ability. Vehicles bring powerful acts of war to the field as helicopters sweep in to demolish everything in their path, and tanks bombard enemies up close or at range, sometimes just opting to run over them instead. Always an option. Though vehicles can sometimes make things feel briefly uneven, they're ultimately always a challenge that can be overcome. That said, the pieces fit together nicely. There's tons of unique plays and strategies to be had. Battlefield's components work well in all-out warfare mode, and the only place that they shine more is in hard zone mode. The Battle Royale style mode with a twist. Kills aren't the main goal here. The goal is to get out with sensitive data dropped on the map. Locate, download, and extract as a combination of players and bots descend upon you. The rules of Hazard Zone are completely different from the traditional Battlefield modes of Conquest or Breakthrough, and the mode is more restrictive in key ways than its counterparts. Aside from that, there's also the Portals mode, which pays homage to the history of the franchise. Players can go online to a special custom builder and design whatever insane mode they want. Pulling from assets from Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and 2042, you can create whatever insane idea you have. You want 30 EOD bots to have to take down 5 2042 tanks? Go for it. Want to see how tech can outmatch sheer numbers? Put those 2042 squads up against 50 1942 soldiers. Want to make a battle for air domination between 2042 jets and the jets from Battlefield 3? It's yours. This mode offers a lot aside from just sheer weapon progression or unlocks. The wide variety of ideas on display here is awe-inspiring. Each part of this game offers a different, fun, unique experience that lets creativity and spontaneous action drive the gameplay more than rigid play types. If nothing else, seeing 128 players collide on a massive map with helicopters and tanks bombarding the area as soldiers rush in doesn't make your jaw drop, I'd be really surprised. Though I guess I should mention the 128 player count that I was just talking about is restricted to 64 players on PS4 and Xbox One. The next gen technology really makes this game grow and expand in exciting ways. Battlefield 2042 is a must-have for anyone who enjoys warfare on an epic scale. Squad play where teamwork makes the dream work and just sheer, unadulterated, explosive fun. 2042 is available for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, as well as for PC. Sweeping landscapes, beautiful scenery, crunchy, satisfying combat, and an emotional story of one man's drive to save his home. Sucker Punch's lovingly crafted homage to the samurai cinema of Kurosawa has it all. Okay, so technically this game came out in 2020, but thanks to its expansion and the introduction of the PS5, I get to include my favorite game from last year on this year's list. That's a win-win in my book. Every part of this game is outstanding. From the way the wind guides you around as you explore a beautiful recreation of ancient Tsushima, an island full of vibrant locals and war-scarred terrain in Japan, to the Bushido-style combat which grants mastery to those who use free flow between stances, waiting and watching before striking. The journey of Jin Sakai, from the initial invasion by Mongol forces and the fall of Tsushima's samurai, to the rise of the Legend of the Ghost, is one full of connections, self-reflection, and intense sword fights. Well-rounded writing makes characters feel fleshed out, with motivations all their own and driving forces that lead their narratives forward, connecting to yours. The world is grounded in a sense of companionship with nature, which is in full bloom here. Weather and light move in real time, making every scene a painting. Every battle consists of the same ingredients, but it's up to you as the samurai chef here to flow between those ingredients against different enemy types and master your surroundings to make each one a tactical, strategic, cinematic battle. Tsushima's world is full of serenity and chaos in equal parts. One second you're watching a gorgeous sunrise from beneath the cherry blossoms, the next you're in a savage one-on-one duel against a wandering samurai out for revenge. There are subtle moments all over this world that lead you to new and exciting opportunities through exploration that feels like second nature. I straight up lost count of the number of times a yellow bird distracted me, guiding me to a new event or location, bamboo sticks that needed to be cut up with my samurai sword, a hot spring for me to just chill and reflect in, or even new pieces of samurai gear for me to equip to make myself look even cooler than I already did. Oh, did I mention the phenomenal photo mode that gives you the tools to create masterpieces of your own? Because I'd be lying if I said my hard drive had less than 200 Ghost of Tsushima photos captured on it. I kinda love the photo mode. Beyond the invading forces that need to be repelled, the director's cut includes the Iki Island expansion, bringing with it a new mind-bending story, new armors and charms to acquire, and new events scattered across a new island for you to tackle in any way you want. I spent most of last year raving about this game, so do your loved ones a favor and give them this single-player narrative game with a master-class world design, samurai flavors that appeal to pretty much everyone, and most importantly, this game lets you pet the foxes. Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut is available now for the PS4 and PS5. Moving from ancient Japan to modern-day Mexico, Forza Horizon 5 is more than just another entry in the long-running Xbox graphics-heavy racing sim. It's the culmination of years of practice honing the art of building a near-perfect open-world driving game, raising the bar for all of the racers hereafter. Horizon 5's version of Mexico is gorgeous, a map bigger, higher, and more widely varied in events that show off its near photorealistic world than any other entry before it. I found myself getting lost in the beautiful landscapes, especially while at the peak of its massive mountain, the highest in any Forza game yet. Yeah, it's beautiful, we get it, but how does it play? I hear you saying, imaginary audience member. Excellent is the answer. The handling tweaks are deceptively extensive, with more realistic braking, a far more responsive steering rig, and suspension changes that make off-roading a true joy. The vastly revamped audio is incredible as well, and the amount of cars that sound blatantly different to each other has exploded. The roster of 500 cars is enough to make any car lover happy, with more customization and character than some role-playing games. All the events feel connected, leading to one another in a way that makes the final festival feel that much more enjoyable to reach. Every part of this iteration is a purification of its predecessor. New modes and avenues for progression build on what's come before and expand it to even more than that. Getting lost in the customization and distracted by visual beauties of Playground Games' interactive version of Mexico? Strike out wherever your path is. Do whatever you want and explore however you feel. It's truly an open world game. In a world full of games that exist in a genre with one main playstyle, Horizon 5 swings open its special edition supercar doors to those who love racing and those who just love to drive. Driving supercars and absurd novelty vehicles throughout the vast expanse of deserts, mountains, jungles, and cities is for pretty much everyone. So, if you seek to experience the joy of downhill, off-road racing off the side of a volcano, or taking oxygen-stealing photos of fast cars, this one is a must-have. Forza Horizon 5 is available now for Xbox One, Series S and X, and PC. Additionally, a great gift here for this game is Xbox Game Pass, which gives you access to this game and so many more. Out of left field with the classic 80s hits firing on all cylinders, Eidos Montreal's Guardians of the Galaxy is an unexpectedly thrilling ride exploring family, worth, and what it means to be a team. Most importantly, it's a freaking Guardians of the Galaxy game. I'll be honest here, I never, not once ever, thought this game would be this good. But lo and behold, it's now my game of the year. Story focused. Simple but over-the-top combat mixed with incredibly well-written stories and dialogue makes this linear adventure keep up with even the most wide-open, open-world games. Despite the title implying that you'll play as all the Guardians, this story actually centers around Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. That's our main character here. Through his interactions with his crew and the Marvel Universe at large, we get some of the best, most witty, and completely heartfelt characterizations of the Guardians yet. The story follows Star-Lord and crew as they stumble from heist-driven bounty hunters to galactic heroes. Each character is well performed and given stellar writing, making every encounter and cutscene feel authentic, which is great, because conversation choices pop up often to offer you more deep connections with your team. What's astounding here about the writing is that even though the Guardians never stopped talking, it never once felt overbearing. Fights are where things get kinda interesting though. Peter flies around on jet boots, firing off volleys of lasers to damage enemies, casting special moves and dodging with crisp animation to kick some alien butt. Although the crux of your damage isn't going to come from your blasters, it's going to come from calling in the rest of the team for special moves. Groot's branches attack enemies, binding them. Rocket's insane arsenal of explosives absolutely demolishing everything in their path. Gamora's acrobatic executions putting a flourish on the assassin styles to mix up the combat. And Drax's brutal staggers delivered with the hefty gusto of a destroyer. This offers more than meets the eye depth to the team dynamics, creating special combos to set up that you can pull off to make your team really feel like they work in tandem. There's even a special move, the Huddle, where Peter gets a once-in-a-battle chance to Independence Day style inspire his team, granting them damage buffs and giving them a brief window of unlimited non-stop specials. Once you hit that Huddle button and get ready for the killer soundtrack to kick in, which I gotta say, the band Star-Lord, created specifically for this game, actually has some pretty sweet music. Familiar hits are here as well. Take On Me, Final Countdown, We're Not Gonna Take It, the list goes on. And the powerful music has a dramatic feeling in the world itself. The needle drops are aplenty. But more than all that, Guardians is just stunning to take in. The art direction is phenomenal. A cosmic array of unique colors, designs, and landscapes. Creatures that crawl out of your worst nightmares, contrasted with gorgeously created character models, making every scene feel buttery smooth and cinematic. I couldn't have anticipated this even making the list, but wholeheartedly I can say now that this game is amazing. So go buy it. Buy this game so we can get a sequel. I need a sequel. We need a sequel. So you should get this game, or they won't make a sequel. I'm just saying. Balls in your court. That is to say, Guardians of the Galaxy is available digitally and physically on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, PC, and there's even a cloud version available for the Nintendo Switch. Though I do need to note that you do need a consistent internet connection for the Switch cloud version. The year is 2006. I get home from school, grab my DS, boot up that iconic opening into the world of Pokemon. This time, the Sinnoh region, with new creatures to find and adventures to be had. I picked my first partner Pokemon, which of course was Chimchar, and set off on my Pokemon adventure. I spent so much time in that world collecting all the various pocket monsters to fill out my Pokedex, raising them into powerhouses that could dominate any trainer who dared to cross my path. 15 years later, and the Pokemon Company have given me a new chance alongside the new generation of trainers to re-experience this fantastic world. I'll be honest with you, the Sinnoh region is probably my favorite. Out of all the Pokemon regions, it's got the most unique designs for Pokemon, it's got the widest range of biomes, and some of the most powerful feeling legendaries of all time. There's a Pokemon god in this game. This version of the game is a perfect reintroduction to the world of Sinnoh, bringing with it all the charm that developer Ilka could fit into its chibi characters and sprite-inspired levels. And while this trip down memory lane is nice for me personally, it is a little brought down by the newer, more hand-holding styles of modern Pokemon games. Experience share is on by default, meaning that Pokemon share experience as the battle goes regardless of whether or not they participated in the battle. This can mean that leveling up is a lot easier across your entire team, but it also more often than not means that you get overpowered very quickly, making many of the iconic fights that are supposed to feel tense feel tame by comparison. With that one gripe aside, these games are faithful recreations of the originals, with beautifully remade graphics and some much needed polish. Battle systems remain unchanged, but are still good fun. Returning mechanics still feel good and more fluid than ever, but the main appeal here is what's new, like the Grand Underground. A sprawling underground network of tunnels where new Pokemon can be found and new items to customize your secret base can be acquired. Plus there's a new contest mode where you can show off your Pokemon's talents by letting them compete in a rhythm contest and allowing them to show off some of their coolest moves. Look, it's a lot more fun than it sounds like on the surface. Look, I'll be honest, it's a Pokemon game. There's not much more I can say here. It's just good old-fashioned Pokemon fun for newcomers and veterans alike. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are available now physically and digitally for the Nintendo Switch. The pandemic and many other global events have caused shortages across the planet, so be prepared to think ahead and buy as soon as you are able. But also, don't forget that it's okay to go out and buy digital currency to hand over digital copies of the game to those you love. 2020 to 2021 have been rough, but I hope that this list and the games on it can help bring some brightness to this time of year. Give someone some of that joy that you experience whenever you play games. Give them a video game. For Hardwired, I'm Andrew Hamilton.